Hey, everybody.
Hello, hello, everyone. This is Freddie Gillespie, Chair of the Open Space Preservation Commission. It is now 2:15. Due to technical difficulties, our meeting was stopped and we just got back online now. So we're resuming the meeting. I need a minute to grab my head. That was a little bit crazy. Karen, can you read where we were in our minutes so I can make sure?
Absolutely. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Great.
Sarah, wait a minute. Let me, just because we're resuming, can we all say who's here? Sarah? You here, Sarah?
Sarah Rossitano is here.
Karen?
Karen Svikovich is here.
Freddie Gillespie Chair is here. Okay.
So we were just beginning the review of the site plan. And we were on number 70 on page 11 of the site plan. And we were making a duplicate motion because the same item was on the subdivision decision for Stonebrook regarding the 20 winterberry straight species plants.
So the motion.
Would you like me to repeat the motion?
Yeah, repeat the motion. Had we voted on it?
We voted and we all agreed.
Okay.
But I'm happy to read it again if that would be helpful. Okay.
That was the final motion for number 70. I'm trying to
That's right.
Sorry, I'm trying to
number 70 on page 11.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back to the screen. So is this shared now or do I have to share it again, I think?
You need to share again, yeah.
All right, and good luck finding you guys. So share screen. All right, so I can't share the screen. Melissa, are you there?
Yep, give me 1 second. I'm gonna make you co-host and you should be all set.
Okay, so Karen, you might have to walk me through this again if I make a mistake. I'm gonna share a screen. Now I come up, is it show all windows? Or
I would do show all windows because you had a few open and then just click on the window that has the site plan.
Yeah, not here. Show all windows. I need to do Stonebrook Village site plan. All right. I'm going down to number 70. Gotta move you guys out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Don't you wish you could move us out of the way that easily in real life?
No, I want to. I want to drag you along wherever I want you in real life. Is more like it. Come on, guys, let's go over to Stonebrook Village and do our site. If only it were so easy.
That's right.
Number 70. I think we're done here, but we just want to be sure, right?
I think so too, yeah.
And then sorry, I have a headache. I think I burst some brain cells on that one.
Well, it's stressful when the technology doesn't work. It's great when it does.
Now this is what's important. This is different. On page 13 of the site plan.
Okay.
It has the Stonebrook Village open space restrictions and management requirements. And this says the language of how the open space must be maintained. Mm-hmm. It says that these restrictions run with the land in perpetuity. And it says the legal remedies that the town is allowed to enforce the restrictions. And I think we just want to be aware of these. I think it was good language that we would want to be sure are used in other open space set-asides on site
Mhm.
plans and subdivisions. So I think the action item here, unless someone disagrees, has something else, is we want to be aware of these requirements. Okay.
Mhm.
Where do I see if anyone is here with us?
You can see it under participants, and currently listed
So this
for
is a
participants at
different,
the very bottom next to sharing your screen.
and this is, yeah, this is a different chat room. So there's not kind of the public waiting. So there won't be public comment at the end. There's just who's on here now, and then people can view it live on YouTube or the website.
Right. And right now there's nobody else present except for the three of us on the commission and Melissa.
So let me finish this and then I'm going to get back to that.
Okay.
So for this number, it's Exhibit A in the site plan on page 13 and 14. Our action item, Karen,
Mhm.
is to be familiar with the requirements and the legal remedies. Okay.
Mhm.
Sarah, is that all right with you? Do you see anything different you'd want to have happen here?
This is Sarah Rostano. That's all right with me.
Okay. So having gone through both the subdivision and the site plan for Stonebrook Village, and coming up with a way, our obligation and responsibilities towards the open space conditions in this decision have been identified with action items taking for all of them. I'm going to say that some of these items will come up at another meeting, but for the most part, we're finished. Not for the most part, we are finished with our review of these documents for today's meeting. Okay, so now I'm going to close this out and go to the next agenda item, but trying to make you
And I
guys
have,
big again.
I have the agenda in front of me here, and the next item is annual meeting
Yeah.
commission report. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
wait for me, okay?
Okay.
Because I can only do one thing at a time, and I'm closing that out.
Sorry.
Is the screen still being shown?
Yes. There
'Cause
should be a
that's-
little red button that says stop sharing.
I'm trying
So-
to get us big size. Oh, it's way up time. Okay, stop share.
Mhm.
Thank you. All right. So now, give me a minute. There's an annual meeting scheduled. Oh, before we go to the annual meeting. And Melissa, can you weigh in here? I want to be sure what's happening here. So the public went to the meeting and they got shut out along with us, but there's no way for them to know where this meeting is being held right now. Is that correct? Is Melissa there? Is anyone here?
I'm here. This is Karen.
I'm here.
Melissa, I
Yeah.
want to be sure what just happened, so I want to just make sure our minutes reflect it. We started a meeting. We got shut down by technical error.
Mhm.
We were invited back into another meeting with an email invitation from Tom and IT.
Yep.
But nobody else knows about where this meeting is being held.
It is live on YouTube, and it'll still be on the My Southborough page. So it still shows up like any other meeting. It's just resumed.
I will note in the minutes Freddie, that there was this technical difficulty and that we resumed under a different Zoom meeting room.
Okay. I just wasn't sure that people could find us if they needed to, who were here at the last meeting, the beginning meeting, and then got thrown out along with us. So the question is, my question is, will this be one meeting on YouTube, or will it be started and then you have to go to another YouTube video?
It is another stream but it says resumed.
Okay.
So it reflects that it is the same meeting, but it's continuing.
Okay. And I just want everyone to know this was no, nothing to do with any beyond the control of the Open Space Preservation Commission.
Absolutely.
That's for sure.
Yep.
All right. So now the next item is on our agenda is the annual meeting. Previously, we had decided that we would do at the beginning of annual meeting, there would be there's a time for boards and committees to issue a report. And we thought it was important for us to share what we've been working on in town. Yep.
I see Karen has left. Maybe wait for her to rejoin.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking at the agenda, not the screen. Karen's just texted me that she got kicked out.
Did she accidentally close the window?
I will ask her.
Just tell her to click that link again. Just come right back in.
Can't
there.
click. Is she back?
Yeah.
Karen, are you back?
Yep, I'm back. That was very strange. Okay, I'm back.
All right. You know what? I'm going to share the agenda because I can't be switching screens. It doesn't work for me. So
Okay.
I'm going to share and then I'm going to try to find the agenda in all this. Here we go. Share. Okay. And then does it show up to people that I've got you guys and I'm moving you around the screen? Taking you for a ride?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nope, doesn't. Only you can see that.
Okay. So back to the annual meeting. Sorry, this just discombobulates me. The report we voted to do, we were going to present a short 5-minute overview of our work, particularly to kick off the wildlife habitat certification and go over some of our native pollinator, native plant initiative. I believe there is a now June 13th or something, a Saturday in June, rescheduled date for annual town meeting. And I believe it's going to be a pared down meeting. They're going to try to move anything that takes discussion to a fall town meeting. And I can't imagine anyone here would disagree that would be the place for us to do this recap, depending on the situation at the time.
So you're saying that our previous discussions to conduct a brief presentation at the town meeting have now changed because the town meeting has been rescheduled for June, but it's a shortened meeting. So we will do that presentation instead in the fall. Is that what I understand, Freddie?
That's what I'm as one member, that's my recommendation, that we revisit this for a fall town meeting if it's appropriate then either. We certainly, I'm not of any interest to prolong any meeting. It wouldn't benefit what we're trying to accomplish, nor would it be a, people who go to these town meetings are not going to want to stand around.
Right. This is Karen speaking, and I agree with your proposition, Freddie, to do the presentation in the fall instead of in the shortened June meeting.
Okay, and Sarah?
Sarah, I agree.
Okay. I'm now listed as Freddie. Before I was Frederica Gillespie. I don't know why, but there we go. So I'm the same person who was on the prior one listed as Frederica, but now I'm Freddie. It's still me. I just noticed that. The other thing is
We're
the light bylaw, the dark skies light bylaw. Originally, we had supported that for town meeting. I don't know if they finished the revisions for the final hearings at the planning board. And we don't know what the planning board will do with that, but I imagine that will be one of the warrant articles that will be pushed to the fall. And we can revisit that then. You know, we had voted to support it in concept, and if for any reason it came up in June, in case we didn't have another open space commission meeting before the annual town meeting, that still stays. We already made that decision, so I don't think we need to do anything, because if there had been a final version of the bylaw, we could vote on that, but until that is actually finalized, there's nothing more for us to do. So that's just for information. We already supported it in concept, and once there's a final bylaw, we can review it, and if it goes to town meeting, offer our vote at that time, which I imagine we'd be supporting it, but can't say that until we read it and decide. Plays right into, if anyone's interested in why we're talking about this, bright lights at night harm our native pollinators and insects and wildlife in general. And it doesn't just stay on the field or the street or the business that's got the lights. It impacts all of the wildlife throughout town. So yeah, that's why it's on our agenda. Okay, the next one is a prior project, the Open Space Sudbury Valley Trustees and SOLF Joint Land Outreach Project. There was a grant that's long gone, happened during the early days of the coronavirus. We would have had to have put in, but we want to be aware that grant had been a recurring grant. We might want to put it in a calendar to pay attention in case it comes out next year. One of the things I wanted to mention was that given the value of open space during this crisis and how much our residents have benefited by the ability to take walks outside, I would think that there would be more and renewed interest in protecting land.
Yes, I would hope so.
I also think another issue that's going to become more discussed is that we want to, I'm already hearing this discussion, that local sourced food is going to become more important when supply chains break down and, transportation. So even when this moves on, being prepared for another situation in the future doesn't hurt. I had read a report once about how much land would need to be in farming for New England to support the residents of New England, and it was a staggering amount. And we have Chestnut Hill Farm in production, but no place else. One thing I know is that prime farmland soil takes eons to make. You can't just make it new again. So once you have it, it is a really important resource to protect. And we may wish to, moving forward, take a look at where there's undeveloped land in town suitable for protection that has prime farmland soil, may be a high factor in trying to protect some land, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So
I'm also, this is Karen speaking, I'm also really pleased with how the Chestnut Hill Farm in Southborough has collaborated so effectively with other farms in the Massachusetts area to create the online store. And I think this is a really excellent infrastructure that we should encourage continuing to preserve for future times that we might have a crisis like this, but even for non-crisis times.
yeah, and that's wonderful, but it's one resource, and I think there's possibility of having more land available for farming.
Mm.
Is something we in the fall
Mm-hmm.
we may want to start looking at in more detail once some of this crisis is, working with the trustees, working with Sudbury Valley trustees, working with NRCS, which is the it's an arm of the USDA that helps with farming issues.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think we had sort of stepped back from land protection because we had acknowledged that it was so expensive and so rare the opportunities came up that when I say step back, we just had acknowledged that there wasn't anything big on our horizon right now, always keeping our eyes open for options. And I'm suggesting we may want to be a little more proactive in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah's sound good or?
That sounds good to me. This is Sarah.
Okay. So I can, Sarah, had you been our liaison with SVT and SALT on that prior project? I believe SALT had set up maybe Deb Costine, a
Yes.
board member, to work with us on that. So
Yeah,
maybe you could follow up and just say, we want to revisit something in the fall
Okay. Yes, that sounds good.
or sooner if we, I just know that everyone's feeling a little overstressed right now. I'm putting it to the fall, let things get back to normal. The next one is on the agenda item is the Native Pollinator Native Plant Initiative. And we had a lot of activities planned, particularly with the Earth Day 50th anniversary. We had a week-long Planet Palooza 50th anniversary of Earth Day celebration planned. We had lots of different activities. Obviously, all of those were canceled. And one thing, we had a library talk. This goes further down, but I'm going to talk about it now because it's about Russ Cohen was April 21st scheduled for Edible Landscapes. And in May, we have the author John Hillman doing a talk about moths. I'm wondering what the webinar capacity in this town is. I mean, I don't know how to make webinars. I don't know if we can do it with safe social distancing, if people can create a video. Is this something we want to pursue so that we can still be providing the outreach and education we wanted to, which to me is even more critical given the current status of the coronavirus.
So Freddie, this is Karen, and this is also a question for Melissa. Melissa, does the Zoom membership that the town has, do they have the webinar feature? You have to pay extra for it, so probably they don't.
Yeah, so what you were in before was the webinar. And now
Okay.
it's just kind of a meeting. So we have a capacity of 100. I think that's really the limiting factor for what we have, which is pretty standard.
Yeah. So Freddie, this is Karen speaking. I would recommend that if Russ and John, our two speakers, are comfortable with giving a webinar, it would mean, them showing their slides and speaking like we are all speaking right now. that we could open one or both of these up as a webinar with a cap of 100 participants, which I don't think we'd meet.
Well, I'm optimistic. It will be sad, but we'll have to turn away anyone over 100 that wants to
That's right.
come.
That's right. Yeah, we'd be
We
sad.
also had, and I have to look into this, we had purchased we had talked about showing a movie on meadows and bringing nature home
Mm,
through Doug Tallamy's work.
mhm.
And we were scheduled to do a presentation at the senior center
Mhm.
in May, maybe.
Mhm.
But before we finalized all the PR, this happened. So we haven't gotten back to them. So that's another one. So there could be additional ones that we could look into. Melissa, is there a process to go through to set this up with the town? Do you know?
Just like setting up a webinar, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, how's it different than
I would say it's not necessarily much different. If you're just doing a public comment, then you just make sure that the time that you want is available. And then you can have a sign up link, so you can limit at that 100. So people that sign up will get that registration link to click and join in on.
who has to do all that? Us or can somebody else?
I think someone else, you can work with myself or Tom and try and figure out the timing that you want to make sure that we have the right room set up and timing, approximate time that you need available, so this doesn't happen. And then, we can figure out a better kind of registration site or kind of capacity to more easily get that out.
That would be cool.
That is cool. Let me just say, so if I have a PowerPoint, how it works is like I shared screen of the agenda and the Stonebrook Village documents.
Yeah.
Just like that, I would be sharing the PowerPoint and talking through it, and that would become a webinar.
Yep.
Yeah. So Freddie, this is Karen. This is what I'm going to be doing next week. So that's why I'm so up on it, because I had to convert all my face-to-face classes to webinars. So the only difference is rather than sharing your screen, you share your application, which is your PowerPoint application. And then, of course, you're speaking into the computer to the participants. But I think the first question is whether or not our two speakers are comfortable with doing that, because some people just don't want to do it. Other people are totally okay with it.
Right. Well, the reason it's a general question, because if they're not, others may.
Yeah.
Russ Cohen, when I told him as this was starting off, I was like, Russ, I think this might, went from the beginning of the crisis to Russ, this may have to be postponed and then to Russ, it's canceled. And he goes, well, he can do a webinar. He's done others. So I know I haven't been in touch with John. That's a May, so that's getting closer. I don't think there's any chance that we would be holding a in-person presentation at the library. I want to make sure that my other commissioners agree with that.
I agree. This is Karen.
I mean, whether they're open or not, I can't imagine they would allow it. And I think it'd just be in our best interest for me to go ahead and contact him and say, we can't have you, we can't host you. The question is, depending on the cost, it was a price, above our ability to afford. The Friends of the Library will have to communicate with them. They had agreed to pay for it. So the question is, and he is fantastic. And as much as webinars and Zoom is great to have the capacity, I'm getting sick of it. Having an in-person presentation is so much more, I don't know, real. That would we consider seeing if we wanted to, if he's available. You guys still there? Somehow disappeared from my screen, so I'm nervous.
I'm still here.
Wonder where you went. Nobody's showing up. I have no visual. Bear with me for a minute. I don't know. Your screen sharing is paused. I've got nothing, you guys. There's something at the top. It's, there you
Mrs.
are, you're
Karen,
back.
I can, what?
You came back. I don't know where you guys had gone. Why is my screen sharing paused? Resume share. Okay. That was weird. I hadn't touched anything. So the question is, first see if he's interested in doing a webinar, and then
Mhm.
see, I mean, it's second guessing. Are things going to open up? And even if they do, are people even going to want to go out to a in-person event in any time in the near future? So why don't I see if he's willing to do a webinar, and then we can discuss it at a future meeting. Does that
That sounds
sound
great. Yeah, and just, I don't know what his policy is, but for most speakers, they charge less for a webinar than they would have charged for a face-to-face. And typically the webinars are limited to 90 minutes.
Yeah, first of all, there's no travel time.
Mm,
We pay for that in some of these presentations.
mhm.
For Russ, it's not an issue because he was very affordable to begin with. So I'll move on to the National Wildlife Federation Wildlife Habitat Community Certification. Next steps, process for team. We were at a point where we were, so everyone who's watching, Sarah Rossitano is our team leader. We have a team put together with a member. Right now, there's a member of the Conservation Commission, which is Jeff Pete, and a member of the Southborough Open Land Foundation, which is Deb Costin. And Sarah is the Open Space Preservation Commission representative on the team. The team sort of runs the show, but everything is fed through the Open Space Preservation Commission. And we were just getting ready for our big kickoff at the Planet Palooza week-long celebration of Earth Day's 50th anniversary. So I think we can still have our Planet Palooza in the fall, but I think we want to kick off doing something on this now. People are at home, they could be certifying.
Mm.
So Sarah, would you be ready to, oh, the other thing is my Southborough, Beth, contacted me and wanted to know if we had some information for her. She thought it would be a good time for people to start working on this, and I totally agree. So Sarah, would you be ready like by Monday to have a press release for my Southborough?
Yes, I think that would be a good first step. And then we can kind of launch our online presence about it.
So that would have the press release would also have links to, if anyone's watching this, links to the documents and how you certify. And we could even plan our own wildlife habitat community certification webinar,
Mm.
you know, in the future, not by
That'd be
Monday,
very
Sarah.
cool.
And, you know, you could take a virtual, well, not a virtual, but you could go on a walk and show people, or get someone to, like, you know, somebody who has a certified wildlife habitat. I believe the Pete's do, and seeing as Jeff's on your team, I wonder,
Yeah, mine is certified as well.
okay, so I don't know how that would work. Can you take a video while you're walking around with your, you know, we could try practicing it, you know, to see that it came out good.
A virtual certification garden tour.
Yes,
Mm.
that's what I'm thinking. We could do that.
That's fun.
I think it's fun. And oh, Breakneck Hill is certified. So, I mean, we could, you know, have little snippets of different places. We could do a whole series, a whole, I called it for something else, a snack pack, like little 15-minute videos you could click on in an afternoon and say, hey, do you have this? And, you know, here's Breakneck Hill. I don't know. Here's the Sarah Rossitanos and families certified land. Then other people could, post them when they have theirs. I think that's cool. And what were you doing? There was some public outreach. We're going to be rolling out a Facebook page eventually too.
Yes, the certification of National Wildlife Certification of Southborough Facebook page.
All right. So once that's ready, we'll go public with that too. So I think this is exciting and something that, maybe people will really like to participate in. So we've already talked about the 50th anniversary Earth Day programs. I don't know where you guys keep going. You disappeared again. It's very, very, it's like I have this thing up top, but I have no visual. There you go. Now you're back. You're playing hide and seek with me. Okay. So next item is collaboration with Dr. Jagir. Dr. Jagir has a bumblebee survey research project at Breakneck Hill. He also has a beecology project. We have been partners with him. We're going into our 6th season. This is really cool stuff, and it's getting recognition, actually more recognition outside of Southborough than necessarily inside Southborough, but it's a big deal. It's important work, and it's interesting and fun. So
Yes.
there's a beecology program, which is, he's updating his website. So it will be maybe more user friendly, and people can go out and take videos of bumblebees on flowers. Everyone here has done that. Sarah, you've done quite a bit of it, haven't you?
Yes.
And you actually planted plants in your yard based on his recommendations, correct?
Yes, I've been out trying to take pictures of the bumblebees.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, he's going to have new tutorials. I think it's something we can roll out, and that parents can do at home with their children, or adults on their own. Something to give you a focus for enjoying the outdoors and the open spaces we have, or your own yard. Like, who wants to just go and sit in their yard day after day? But if you're out, stalking your flowers for bees to video, it gives you I don't know, in my mind, a little more interest. So I think that's something we can maybe roll out. But more exciting is the project we have been the key liaison with Dr. Jagir, but through our participation in the stewardship committee under the Conservation Commission at Breakneck Hill, that's one of his key research sites, and this is breaking news. I'm really excited about it. Dr. Jagir is getting some of the plants that are required to help save our rare bees. These plants are very difficult to get in the trade. Some of them are very beautiful, as well as, environmentally important. And the stewardship committee at their last meeting just voted to we agreed to have this garden put in for a long time, but they named it the Beecology Research Garden at Breakneck Hill. And Rob has received some very rare sourced plants that he is gifting to us to install there. Unfortunately, the timing is not great. He has the plants. We don't have the garden ready. Melissa from the conservation agent, has been working with Karen Galligan at the DPW, who is going to help get a portion of the back edge of the community gardens that has been not used because it's too wet. And then you just went away again, Karen. I don't know what that is. Anyhow, you're back. So everything's falling into place. We're going to need volunteers to put the plants in when they come, and it's going to be arriving over the, so he has some right now. As soon as the land is ready, we need to get someone to help us get them in. And then over the course of the summer, more will be arriving. It will be an ongoing process, and then keeping them weed free, and also practicing safe social distancing will be a key component. And I'm thinking we'll have a spreadsheet, make sure only one person at a time, or two, maybe two, depending on the size of it, unless you're a family member that, you know, can be with each other. And I'm hoping to put out a request for volunteers. And I want it to come from the Open Space Preservation Commission in collaboration. You know, this is under the, you know, Breakneck Hill Stewardship Committee, but as far as getting the volunteers, I think that would be great to be under us, because we're the collaborator with Dr. Jadir. But do you see any problems with that, or concerns, or good idea, not a good idea? Are you as excited as I am? Is anyone there?
I think that's great.
I was on mute. Yes, I think it's an excellent idea.
Okay, so I can
And
work on,
just so you know, Freddie, I think part of the reason why I may be fading in and out is I'm going back and forth between this screen and being able to take notes for the minutes. So I think when I do that, it maybe causes you to not be able to see my face.
everyone disappears maybe.
Oh, strange. Okay.
I don't know, but I can find, I don't know, and I don't know how to get you back, but it happens. All right, that's a good explanation what might be happening. So that is going to be happening immediately next week, I hope. Would either of you be available at any time? If the
So
call came up? Don't tell me anything personal necessarily.
Yeah, I have an extremely busy week next week. I have like 5 training sessions that are now webinars, but the following week I'm much more open. So
Okay.
the second week in May, I'd be very happy to do some planning.
Okay, Sarah? Does that fit in with being a teacher and a mom and everything else in your world now that you're a full-time teacher?
I will be able to get away for a little bit next week. I could help out.
Okay. I'll set up a spreadsheet and see. I have to communicate with Melissa and Karen to see when this might happen. It's been weather dependent. And meantime, I have the professor, you know, anxiously awaiting for a place to put these plants.
Hey,
And we don't,
Freddie,
what?
if you don't mind, Karen actually got the hay out this morning.
Woohoo!
And then they're gonna finish with the rock hog, which will get a lot of the trash out too, and then rototilling when there's another nice day. But they started sinking today, so they didn't get it finished. But they got the grass out.
That's awesome.
And that was Melissa Danza from the conservation agent of the town, and she's also our technical support for this meeting. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew whose voice that was. Thank you, Melissa. I've got goosebumps. I don't want to say like I feel like I've been, you know, it's been difficult because Dr. Jadir worked really hard to get these plants. We were supposed to have a garden area ready last year. And because of the rainy season we had last year, it didn't happen. And now, you know, we're just working because there are plenty of other people across the state who want these plants. Let me put it that way. And he has other sites across the state. And, you know, at some point, if we're not available to put the plants in, hold on one second. We're going to, because it's 3 o'clock and we lost our meeting, that we are going to have to adjourn this. Sarah, can you wait 3 more minutes? Sarah?
Yes, I can.
All right. So that was what was really important. We have one other very important item to talk about. So we're going to table everything else on the agenda except for the fiscal year 21 budget. See if I can bring that up. No. Am I still on share screen?
No, you're not.
Good. So they're reducing, because of the coronavirus, they're reducing, it says share screen. So is this on now?
I still see your,
You're not sharing now.
It says stop share.
Hmm.
So I'm going to stop and now try share screen again. Sarah, I'll make this really quick once it happens, okay? We're supposed to end at 3, and because of that technical difficulty, we lost a lot of our meeting time. Okay, is everyone seeing this now?
Yes.
Okay, this is a spreadsheet sent to me by, I think it was our town town treasurer and Mark Purple. And it's showing they're looking for everyone to cut their budget. And if you see the Open Space Preservation Commission, can you see my cursor there? Maybe not.
Yes, but it's
the-
very small. It's hard
Okay.
for me to see the individual print.
Okay, so it's the third line down is the Open Space Commission. We have a $2,000 budget. We're like one of the lowest budgeted town commissions, and they're taking away under a 2% cut, $26, and under a 0% increase. I guess it's a 0% tax increase. They're looking at taking $80 from our budget. And I have an opinion on this, and that it's a short amount of money, but it's money we need. We are underfunded and have been underfunded for decades. We do the work that we are charged to do above and beyond, and are as hardworking as any other board or committee without any staff. Our charge is to facilitate the preservation of open space. The Open Space Preservation Commission was critical in the protection forever of Chestnut Hill Farm in 2006. We played a critical role in that, as well as the resulting permanent protection of the Beals Preserve. Both are properties well loved and used in this pandemic. We played the role in protecting the golf course, the Grand Compromise, which allowed the public safety building to be built there, which is also being used for public access during this pandemic. And as your representative on the Stewardship Committee, we play a critical role to keeping the trails in tip-top shape at Breakneck Hill, where it's just an amazing resource for the town. And we also played a critical role in establishing a Trails Committee, which is responsible for all of the trails in town. That Trails Committee was established by your Open Space Commission, who did all the legwork to get it set up and running, and then gifted to the Board of Selectmen, who then established it. The Trails Committee's been doing a great job, but we had a role to play in making sure that happened. So we've been doing our job, and the fact that we're the lowest funded and we have to fight all the time. What this chart doesn't show, and I just want to be clear, I would not ever say we don't do our fair share to balance the budget. But my recommendation is we say we don't think we should have any cut at all. What this chart does not show is the increase in budgets that some of these departments and committees and boards have requested above last year's. We were level funded this year, and 2 years ago we asked to raise our budget to 2,500 to be at the same level as the other lower funded committees, and we went up only 500 with the discussion that we would phase in over the years the additional monies, and instead to be cut when we haven't asked for any increase just doesn't seem right. When some boards or committees or departments are asking for tens of thousands of dollars, why are they getting that small deduction based on a huge increase over last year's budget. I think they need to go back and look at the ones that have asked for a huge increase before they take away from level funded committees. I don't know if anyone else has an opinion on that, but obviously I have a strong opinion, and I know Sarah has to get going, and if you're not ready to vote on this, that's fine, and you want to think about it. I think they're looking for an answer pretty soon, though.
So Freddie, this is Karen. And I would agree that because we were level funded and because we were among the lowest budgets, that we make the request that our budget not be impacted by this overall budget reduction.
Okay. Sarah?
This is Sarah. I would agree. I would be ready to vote on it.
Okay. Does someone want to make a motion and put in simple terms what I said or what you're feeling?
So this is Karen, and I'd like to make a motion that we put in a request that our budget is not reduced due to the fact that we were level funded and have one of the lowest budgets.
Is there a second? That would be you, Sarah.
I second that motion.
All in favor? Roll call.
Karen Cvikovich in favor.
Sarah Rossitano. I agree.
Freddie Gillespie in favor. That's a unanimous passing, and I will communicate that to the selectmen. And then we're going to adjourn the meeting, and any items we did not get to on our agenda was due to the fact that we were thrown out of our meeting room and took a while to get back on. So it is now 3:07. Thank you for staying late, Sarah. I know you have to get back to teaching. Is there a motion to adjourn? And we need a roll call for this.
This is Karen Cvikovich, and I make a motion that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
This is Sarah Rossitano. I second.
All in favor?
Aye, all in favor. Karen Cvikovich in favor.
Sarah Rossitano in favor.
Freddie Gillespie in favor. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Melissa, for sticking with us and helping us out.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye now.
Bye.